this is Aaron with Spirited Awake. Tonight, Spirit is coming through to talk about comparison and confidence. When we begin the spiritual journey, here's what I hear a lot of. I hear a lot of, I've been doing this for XYZ number of weeks, months, years. I've been doing this for 2 years and I don't think it's right. That's what I hear. I don't think it's right. What can I do to do this better? If I ask why to this question, if I say, well, why don't you think it's right? I hear, well, my journey doesn't look like anyone else's. My journey doesn't look like my friends, my teachers. It doesn't look like this girl on YouTube that I follow. She never talks about the stuff that I am experiencing. We're not here to diminish people who are in the space of my journey doesn't look like anyone else. We've all been in that space. We live in a world where we look around to other people to determine if we're okay. The spiritual journey is different. Once we decide that, or we suspect that we are doing it wrong, what tends to follow is a big long string of self-hate. Things we would never say to another person, we will say to ourselves. Things like, I'm so stupid, why did I start this? I'm crazy, I'm making this up. What is wrong with me? Why would we speak this way to ourselves? It's a form of self-abuse. Abuse is not just something directed from one person to one person, or an entity toward a person, or a person toward... Self-abuse is not okay. Talking to ourselves like we're worthless is not our voice. That's not what we came in here with. That's not what we came into this world to do, all right? It is separate from this video. It's still very worthy work to figure out. It's not even as important who put those voices there. It's more important to examine the impact that they've had on us and our beliefs about the world and about ourselves. That's very worthy work. We're not talking about that in this video, but please examine that. Put a pin in it. Go back to it. Nobody can stop your journey but you. Your journey is never going to look like your teachers or your friends or that person on YouTube or that movie you saw that got you into this in the first place. That's a really common one. You know what I mean? It's not going to be practical magic. It might be just as cool, but it's not going to be scene for scene what happens in that movie or with that person. Nobody has your past. Nobody has your future. Nobody has your now. Your right now. No one else has that. So nobody's going to have your journey. This is not one of those things that we can look at other people and go, same thing. Sometimes it might be very similar, or it might be like, oh, I know what you're talking about, me too. But it's not going to look play by play similar. And to this day, with as much confidence as I have, as much experience, as much cerebral knowledge, as much spiritual knowledge, all of it, I still go to my teachers with questions sometimes or scenarios and say, hey, what do you think's up with this? And I will get crickets. It's not that I'm doing it wrong. It's not that I've made it up. It's the fact that I'm going to somebody else about it. And sometimes your teacher will go, oh yeah, I can tell you what's happening here. And sometimes they'll be like, I don't know. Nobody's ever asked me that before. And that's okay, If you, on a serious note, if you are working with somebody who tries to tell you that they've been doing this for so long that they have the answers, like all of them. That they have worked it all out. There's no more surprises. Like they've got this. They're lying to you. That's not a space that humans occupy. Totally omniscient is not a place we get to and remain alive to do it. That space of what am I doing wrong can be very scary. After all of the stuff that's probably changed in your life so that you can pursue this path with honesty and integrity, it can be very scary to think, oh my God, like what did I do? Why did I quit my job and move my zip code? Or maybe you didn't do any of those things. You just like really moved your mental space and your interior life. It can be just terrifying actually to feel like a failure. And again, that's a self-hate concept. You're not a failure. Not at all. What your highest self needs at this moment, on this journey in general, it's not always something that you are going to know about, because if you just knew everything that needed to happen, you wouldn't be alive. There would be no point. Kind of like the people who say they've figured it all out. Well then, why are you here? Why are you here? It's okay not to know. It's okay to feel stuck. It is also okay to take a bit of humility and step back and go, I just don't know. An image I like a lot is letting go. Just both hands open, letting go of it, you know. You're not going to float away and your journey isn't going to leave you. What can happen is you are then freeing up space. You're not staring at the pot waiting for it to boil, you know. You're free. Free enough to experience the next thing you need to experience. When I was wanting to see ghosts so badly, and I was sure that I needed that confirmation to continue on the path, what I didn't understand was what I actually needed was the building up of my inner confidence. I needed to face those voices that were in my head that weren't mine, that were saying, you're crazy, you got some mental issues, this is nuts, you know. Those were big scary voices to face, and surprise, I'm not crazy. You're not either. That's not even actually a word that I would ever use to describe somebody or something. All that aside, I never did see ghosts. I can speak to spirits. I can know things. I can do all kinds of stuff. But that's not an ability that is going to help me in this incarnation. At least right now. It might be something that develops later, and it might not. But I didn't need it to be okay. You might pick and choose who you share information with, and you might just be one of the people that kind of lets it out everywhere. And that can actually be a very good way to develop your confidence. It's a little rockier sometimes, depending on who you are, because you'll tend to encounter a whole lot of raised eyebrows and just people being outright unpleasant about the fact that you have a spiritual journey. It says a lot more about them than it does about you, but it's still not something that most of us are very eager to deal with. However, just like living in the city, it's a great training ground. When you find your voice, when you find your truth, when you know your path, you may not know exactly what it's going to bring you, where you're going to go. But when you know all of this, nothing anybody can say or do is going to knock you off your center. You might choose to step away and go somewhere else. But when you are connected, that's all you need. It is a space you can get to. There's not a time requirement. There's not an age requirement. There's not a situational requirement. You do not have to suffer and sacrifice and just beat yourself up in order to walk a spiritual path. Some paths are harder than others. I will never lie to you and tell you that it's going to be easy or it's going to be hard. I don't know what your soul needs. I am here, and as all of us should really be here, the meaning of being in service is to serve people the way we can. I'm here to talk to you, to guide you if need be, to provide the assistance that I can. If I can't, to maybe hook you up with somebody who can. We're all walking together, yet separate. And I want to leave you, for now, with the knowledge that you are okay. Everything that's happening is okay. If you're feeling fear, if you're feeling frustration, that's okay. The only way you're going to be stuck is if you remain stuck. Do I believe? Do I not believe? Walking that fence post and kind of swaying this way and swaying that way. What you want is to make your decision. Then you can get off the fence. And if you believe in yourself and you're willing to take that responsibility, because it is a responsibility, then you can get off, go into the green pasture, see what's going on, see the forest beyond, get to the good stuff. If you're going to choose not to believe, you can also go over there. Nothing bad is going to happen to you, but it won't be the same journey. And it's kind of like can't unsee, right? At some point, you're going to come back to that fence and have to do it all over again. The choice is yours to make. Be well. The world will not fall apart if you develop confidence and love